protagonist of the current century. Africa is the second largest continent on Earth and the second most populated, with 1.4 billion Africans, according to the latest projections. And last but not least, is the youngest by far, with an average age of 19 years old, half of Europe's 24 years. But borders are here in Europe and there in Africa to stay, or perhaps to be modified. In Africa, they are a continuous source of conflicts that too often end in bloody wars and the serious violations of human rights. We are aware that it is the delicate issue in Africa as well as in Europe, and we had our own experience in Catalonia. As a member of the European Parliament delegation for relation with the Pan-African Parliament, we thought that we had to dedicate an event to some of the trends happening in Africa, that of claims for changing policies within federations or new nations. South Sudan became an independent nation only in 2011. It is proof that borders change. In this case, after a long war, unfortunately. On the other hand, Somaliland is struggling to maintain its statehood since the first declaration of independence in 1960, as former British Somalia, and since the second declaration in 1991 from Somalia. International recognition is hard to achieve, even proving that Somaliland is the most stable country in the Horn of Africa, but the recent agreement with Taiwan is a reason for hope in the near future. In other cases, as in the Democratic Republic of the Congo, there are alternative proposals involving federal or autonomous systems trying to accommodate different regions and peoples in a giant country the size of Western Europe, of more than 100 million people and 241 spoken languages. After a long war, the eastern region of Kivu is still experiencing turmoil and conflict as we speak. I believe that all political proposal, federalism, autonomy, independence, or unitary state are equal, legitimate only if they are adopted with the consent of the peoples and nations involved. Today, our speakers are here to discuss these cases and hopefully bring new insights to very complex political processes. Today, 8th March, is the International Women's Day. It is therefore an honor to count on two of the speakers who have been involved in defending women's rights in their respective African countries. Mrs. Edna Adan Ismail, a former Minister of Foreign Affairs of Somaliland, is a long-time defender of women's rights and beacon in her homeland, Somaliland. Her struggle against female genital mutilation is an inspiration for many women in many countries. Dr. Pierrot Chambou has been also involved in the struggle for women's rights, collaborating in Kivu with Dr. Mukwege, the 2018 Nobel Peace Prize, in the denunciation of rape and sexual abuses against women and infants as war weapons. We can also count on Mr. Marcelin Chikuru Chambou, who is visiting Europe for the first time after his long political imprisonment in Democratic Republic of Congo for more than 20 years. Welcome, bienvenue, benvinguts,